Hello and welcome to the Build With Baer Workshop. My name is Pat Bear and I'm here to build a model kit and of course, as always, to hang out with all of you. I'm throwing the Bear Cave, the Lego, the site, the emote in the chat. If you're currently a subscriber, you can reply with those emotes. I hope everyone's doing well out there on the old internet. We're in the intro portion of the stream. Mr. Hadel says, evening, Pat, and I say evening to you. Good evening. It's a Thursday and I'm building a model kit. And I hope everyone's doing okay. As I said, we are going to hang out here in the intro zone for a little bit, allow people to come in fashionably late, get a few friends, allow time for the notification to matriculate across Twitch because, hey, Lashbrook, it doesn't like instantly go out to all of your followers that have that have their notifications turned on. It only goes to the ones little bit, and spreads out, and then eventually everybody hears about it. And I am truly blessed that so many people have me. Hey, Lord Crashly says, I like stuff. I like stuff too. That so many people have followed this channel. So hopefully they will come and hang out because that would be great. It would be very good if they did that. Let's see. What's going on? What's up with me? Well, it's Thursday. We're working on the Tri-Age Magnum right there. You can see we got a shoulder done here, and we got the chest and the head done. We're going to move on to the arm to put an arm on this piece here. Then we'll do what we did there on the other side. This is your modern traditional high grade where you do chest, head, arms, legs, waist. I assume that is what's going to happen. Yeah, you know, feet, I should say, feet as well. Um, and these actually, which is kind of cool, is the legs. I believe most of it up until the connector. That they are symmetrical, so you can just build them at the same time. Yeah, and then build the waist, put them all together. Got to get the tri holder frame on the back. So this has this backpack. It already has a backpack, but it's got more backpack. This backpack has a backpack, which is cool. And yeah, we'll be continuing that. Um, Putting this whole thing together, putting on the beam cape. Showing you the beam. I'm just gonna. It's got a beam cape. Got a cape made out of beam material, which is weird but cool. So we'll be doing that. Probably gonna talk a little bit about some anime tonight. We're gonna talk about some manga, I'm sure, because I've been reading a lot of manga, and might want to talk about that a bit. Um, uh, yeah. Um, just hanging out, basically, waiting for people to come in. We're gonna get to building in a moment or two. Actually, I'm gonna look up the name of a manga I want to talk about. World, what's it called? World Customized Creator. That is the thing we'll talk about as we get into it. Because I read a manga, the isekai manga, that is done. It was completed, which means the likelihood that it will be turned into an anime is actually low. And we'll talk about that because I find that fascinating. Hey, Dirty, welcome, welcome. Happy to have you here. Um, get into the arm of this in a minute. Dirty wants me to hit that bell, so I'm going to ring the bell, and then we'll switch over to the overhead view and get to building it. Hang out. There's that bell. The bell has been rung. I'm going to. Oh, Lord Cratchit wants me to ring the bell, and I will answer that by ringing that bell. The bell has been rung. So now we pop over to this. I'm going to retweet my own tweet. So maybe we can get a few more friends to come hang out. And then we'll get to building. And okay. Speaking of, did you see the Isekai Humble Bundle? Last week I did not see that. I don't keep up with Humble Bundle as much as I should, but I will investigate that post stream. And thank you for mentioning it. But yeah, World Creation Create, or World Creation. What was it called? It's not a great name. World Customized Creator is an isekai that I read all of the manga of in the past few days, and we probably won't see an anime of it. So a thing that happens is people are like, "Hey, anime fans kind of have to just get into the habit of Well, if they adapt the thing into an anime and you haven't read the thing, just know that there's going to be some changes, but then also know that if it's an ongoing, there's always the possibility that they have to stop or do a filler arc because they catch up with the source material. So you would say, well, they've already finished that manga. That manga's done. The story of a person that was isekai and has like was summoned as an evil god and has the unique skill to customize anything and is going on adventures and doing cool shit and saving the world and doing all kinds of cool stuff. Really proven that being a god is just you're bringing about change. So even though he's classified as an evil god, it's cool. And you're like, that sounds pretty fun. Like you could visualize, you animated the changing thing, and it's kind of approachable, and the characters are kind of lively, and there's like romance, but like it's not like too booby out there and all of that. But there are some comedy moments. That could be cool. Why wouldn't that be adopted into an anime? Because they don't have to worry about running out of material. Well, the real thing is they can only make so much money selling the manga because it's done. Because not every anime out there is made solely to promote the manga, but a lot of it is. So if the manga is running, then old issues start getting bought up, and then people start buying the manga where the anime left off so they can continue the story. Um, and so people are much more interested in doing that than they are interested in uh, buying a completed series if they watch the anime, because they're like, well, I'll just watch the anime and maybe they'll keep making it and that'll be cool. So it's not a C, I need C36. So it's not a good business plan to adapt something that's done. It does happen. It certainly does happen, but it's rarer than that would happen, which is a shame because it would be like a fine show. Also, a thing that happens is the anime often catches up with the manga because the manga is based on the light novels in popular media these days, and so they just adapt the light novel. So, like the anime of By the Grace of the Gods is and Kuma 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 Bear are ahead of the manga. Also, because especially with the case of the anime Kuma 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 Bear, uh, they skipped like characters and some story. By the Grace of the Gods did a similar thing. By the Grace of the Gods, the manga is like way behind the anime, and there's going to be a second season of it at some point apparently. So they'll even be farther behind because that's a monthly. Most books are monthly. Uh, the pacing of Weekly Shonen Jump is actually like very uncommon, and most of them are going to be monthly books. Uh, so it often has the case that if a thing is popular, once it gets adapted, but then you have to ride that line, you can't wait too long because then you won't be able to sell the manga as well. The whole thing. Uh, but yeah, I've been reading some stuff. I finished that, which was good, and I'm currently trying to get into another book. Okay, how does this work? This goes like that. It went in like that. Then this connects over it. Over it. Got it. Right now I'm reading Skeleton Knight in Another World, which is a show that will be adapted, I believe, in the winter 2022 season, I believe. It might be coming out next season, but I think it got pushed back because a bunch of stuff got pushed back before it. Um, and I am liking it so far. Uh, a person gets isekai'd into the avatar they used in an online game, and they are in a fantasy world. And the thing is, they wore all this cool armor, and the avatar, it didn't matter what they wore underneath. So they wore a skin of a skeleton. So when they get revived, they are a skeleton man. And the trailer for it because I saw the trailer for the anime first, made it seem like this was going to be like a problem that he looks like a skeleton, and I'm here to tell you it's not at all, which is cool because it would have been interesting to go down the route of it can be interesting. It could possibly be interesting to go down the route of what happens when you're an overpowered character and you are persecuted because you look different, right? That's kind of happening in Tsukimichi Moonlight. I forget what it's called. There's a show this season where the character, even though he looks fine, is perceived by other humans as being uh, ugly and also incredibly overpowered, which is he is, but his aura like freaks people out. Um, but that is not what happens in Skeleton because like as soon as people who like him find out, like there's a couple times where they're like he's not in his armor and he's just like in a bath and they just see a skeleton and they're like what the fuck. But most of the time they're just like yeah we know you got a skeleton head, you got a skeleton body, you're still cool. Um, it's pretty fine. It is a fairly traditional. There's a lot of characters, which is interesting. A lot of machinations going on, but mostly it's just like I don't know. This dude's real strong, and then like people are instantly like, "What's up?" Another book I might read soon is I might check out Battle Freak, which I don't think is being adapted at any point, but I know that's an ongoing. It's still happening. So that sounds like it could be cool. I like the premise of that a lot. Of a guy wakes up and he has no memory. He knows facts, but he has no personal history. But he knows he's in a game world, and then he is told by what he believes to be like the menu voice what's going on, which is in order to get extra skills to start this Isekai world, he um, he gives up his own memories because he doesn't need them, and he makes a deal with the goddess to be a spirit. I remember playing Battle Freak on the N64. Yeah, I believe this is a different and different series. I'm gonna guess, but yeah. So he has overpowered skills, basically in exchange for eventually being able to summon the reincarnation goddess to be his like spirit familiar. Um, and he meets some cool people and does some neat stuff, and it's plenty. It's like there's a lot of ladies, but also there's like a cool. Speaking of undead knights, there's a cool undead knight that he like that decides to become a summon of his, and then like he fights a bunch of dragons, and they were like, "Hey, what if you're a summoner, right? We're cool dragons. What about us?" It was a joke though. Biofreaks was N64 game. I mean, look, Battle Freak sounds like the name of an N64 game. Last Rook, you got me with your joke. I totally believed you. But it does sound like the name of a N64 game. Uh, but yeah, basically the term Battle Freak just like the people that surround him are all like, hey, he gets like these eyes, like he's so psyched. Like he's every time he fights someone strong, he's like, hell yeah, I'm gonna fight somebody strong. This is my jam. Like he is just he doesn't say that, but he is very psyched about fighting people stronger than him. And he is often disappointed when they turn out to be not as strong. Like he meets the heroes who were summoned but were summoned differently from him, and he's just like bummed out that they're not strong. So he mostly trains them so he can fight them again later, which I like a lot. He also pretends to be a villain to get them to fight him so he can test them basically. But yeah, as he's fighting them, he's like giving them pointers about like how to fight him better, which I really liked. It's it's I've read like 2 chapters and then read about it a bit. So I'm probably gonna check that out because I don't know. I'm in a manga kick right now. Been psyched about it. I'm waiting for more Kuma 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 Bear. It's coming in a couple weeks, I believe. The next volume comes out. So I'm excited about that because I like that. And right now there are characters that were not in Kuma 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 Bear. Like they just didn't deal with it. So I'm like, okay, this is fun. If you watch that show, you may remember that she like went to the festival where there was like the guy was summoning demons to like attack. Uh, can't decide if this dude is more of a Goku or a Kenpachi. Yeah, he's more of a Kenpachi, I would say. Like he doesn't limit himself the way Kenpachi does, but he is definitely a guy who is like out there to battle. Like to the point where, like I said, he gave up his memory in order to have more skills. Like, which is also convenient because it means he doesn't have any necessarily ties to anything. Um, let's see, what was I saying? Oh yeah. Yeah, Kuma 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 Bear. Basically, there was a dude who was like attacking the king or whatever, and it took like a while of story before it finished. But in our case, she just like instantly shows up in the anime and like just beats this dude up. This was far different. Uh, Also, she beat the dude up, and then the manga, the king kills the guy after he's really like hurt from all of his monsters being destroyed. Uh, but yeah, there's a whole thing where she fights like a kraken, and we haven't seen that in the manga yet. But I guess it must be in the light. It's either in the light novel or they just made it up to have to finish the story of the anime. I don't know. So I'm excited to read more of that because I like uh I like that story. Kuma 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 Bear's pretty fun. But yeah, I tried to read. What was I gonna? Oh, there was something I was gonna read. I think it's God of Destruction, which is like a Korean story. It's all in color, which is kind of neat. But I did not find it particularly great, so I ended up not reading it. Um, the one that people are like, you gotta read, Pat, is Solo Leveling. That's the one that a lot of people are telling me I gotta read, and that feels like an investment. I feel like there's a lot of story in Solo Leveling, so I don't know if that's actually gonna be something I do. But I've heard good things about it, so I might check it out. I don't know. Okay, so here's a big thing I want to talk about tonight. It's not the big thing, but it's a thing that's happening. Um, I can't get into super specifics about it. I just need to complain about it a little bit, and you get to hear me complain about it. Um, Analyze this as I'm talking. Uh, I got some legal documents from my former employer, and it was one of those things where it's like I was like, oh no, what's this big packet of legal bullshit? And mostly it is. It's like it's not a big deal, but it's like, hey, this is gonna happen if you don't do this, this, and this. And of course, it was like the date on it when like these things change was before they mailed it, which doesn't seem right. And then also, uh, um, I was trying to contact my former employer, and the contact info in the fucking documents they sent to me was like an inaccurate phone number. And because they're my former employer and there's been a lot of personnel changes there since I stopped working there. It was actually kind of hard to figure out who to contact, including the email address on their website bounced back for their financial department. It is not an email anymore, and I was like, cool, that needs to get updated. What the fuck? But I managed to find a person who directed me to who I need to talk to. That was my day today. So I am annoyed about that because I did not plan to read through paperwork that I don't understand about a thing that should not be a concern of mine and I should not be dealing with. So I was a little. You know what I'm going to say right now, folks? I'm a little PO'd going to phone hell. Yeah, yeah. It's a lot of like basically a person I knew somebody was still working for that company, and so I emailed her being like, "Hey, who do I talk to? Forward this to the right person, or give me their contact info. I have questions that need answers, and I would like to get this done ASAP." And so, hopefully, is F14? Did I do this right? Yeah, I think it's 14. Yeah. So hopefully that will happen, and I will get the answers that I am looking for. But yeah, it was very frustrating. It was a bunch of like, and then like I said, I'm looking up the contact info they give me doesn't work. I'm looking up other contact info that doesn't work, and I'm just like, well, this. I know this. I know it's like 2021 and things are rough, but like No, you got to keep your updated information on your website. Um, okay, so I don't know anything about this kit, this model kit. So I don't know why there is a card that you can hold. One of the hands is like there's I'm gonna put a sticker on this, and it's like holding a card, like the fingers are here, like it's flashing an ID card or something. Like this is a common writer, and I don't know what the fuck what's going on there, but I'm excited. So anyway, like I said, I was PO'd today because part of my day was dealing with that, and I don't want to deal with that. Um, and then I'm just like emailing about a project that may or may not come up. Of course, checking my emails, talking to people, trying to get things done. I have two model kits in the mail that will be in the mail shortly. One is coming from FedEx, and that is the crossbones Verka 2 that you see right there, the cool ass colored Verka 2 of the crossbone, and the Calamity is supposedly going to get processed sometime and come from Florida, and it's the new full mechanics. I'm very excited to work on that because those both look exceptional. And then I'm going to tell you, I bought something today off my Amazon wish list. That's right, I buy stuff off that wish list too. Um, I bought the Hello Kitty 40th Gundam anniversary, 45th Hello Kitty anniversary, or 35th. I can't remember. I'll know it, but when we build it in the future, I bought that, and you can make it so the head has a helmet, and you can put the Hello Kitty head on the Gundam body, and then also apparently that is not necessarily by design. You can put the Gundam head on the Hello Kitty body. That's an SDEX Gundam and a entry grade Hello Kitty, and I bought that because it was a good deal, and I've been interested in buying that and building that. So that's in the future, folks. If you were like, Pat, are you ever going to build that? I am. I bought that today with money. Uh, Number 16. Did I just say with money? I did just say I bought that with money. Who am I? What's happening? What's going on? How did that happen? How did that come out of my mouth like that? Okay, so this looks like this. Okay, so one side is 15 and one side is 16. And that's okay, so this is 15, so 16. So instead of just making this um two different pieces, they were just like, we'll make it the same and then we'll put a sticker on both sides. That'll look cool and not bad. It does look pretty cool. I don't know if it, but anyway, I'm gonna pick that Hello Kitty Gundam. That's gonna be a good time. That's coming in the future. And I'm also very excited about those other two kits that I bought in the past that are now going to be my present. And the other thing I do want to say about model kits that are coming up is supposedly this month, and who knows, could get in pushed. Also, because I pre-ordered from USA Gundam Store. Sometimes they pre-order more than they actually get at a time. The other thing that's coming out this month is the Millennium Puzzle, and I'm very excited to get that and put that together. Very, very excited. It's a fun kit, Celeste. Yeah. Um, so I got some good kits coming this month. Calamity was supposed to come out in July, but I think it was either a shipment issue or a USA Gundam Store issue or both. Anyway, now we got our card, our hand. Look, if I have the option of having a card like a Gundam that's holding a credit card, or a Gundam that isn't, I'm going to put that card in. But I'm assuming this does something. I don't know what it does, but now it's got a card. So we'll put that on. Now we're going to work on the left arm, which is basically the right arm, only it doesn't have a credit card thing. Uh, Maybe I can look up what that means at some point, what that card means. I have not watched the show that this is from, so I do not know. One. But yeah, I'm excited to have kits to build in the future. I also have a another Lego set coming because my backlog right now has no Lego. I built all the Lego in my backlog, so I picked up a cool Lego set that I'm excited to build in the future. Um, as always, I rarely buy uncool Lego sets. I'm generally buying stuff that I think is neat and then hoping that it is. I'm going to be honest with you, folks. I don't have a lot to talk about today. Um, I was hoping to kind of take it easy and hang out, get caught up on some stuff. Let's see. Yeah, so I didn't really do a lot. I had a lot of like paperwork to read and try to understand, and then try to reach out to people. That was like a big part of my day. Last night, my parents and I, or Tuesday night, I should say, my parents and I went out to dinner to celebrate my mom's birthday, which is very nice. But I don't like going into restaurants. There was one server wearing a mask, and then there was us. And do you think that people should be wearing masks when they are out and about and walking into public spaces? And so that was weird. But yeah, had a good dinner, happy with that. Okay, let me ask you this, folks. I'll ask you this. Maybe y'all have an opinion on this because I found this to be weird. Oh, wrong pieces. These are the wrong 29.30. Okay. All right. Let me know if you think this is weird. I ordered chicken tenders. I got chicken tenders, right? Fried, I was just specific. I ordered fried chicken tenders. Now, when put in the chat now, right now, when you read in the menu, fried chicken tenders, do you expect those to be fried in, like breaded and fried in oil? Like a breaded fried chicken tender, right? Yes, Austin is back up to stage 5 restrictions, so I'm done with going outside if I don't have to. Hell yeah, Lastbrook. But yeah, please let me know in the chat that if you read, oh, this place has fried chicken tenders, would you expect those to be breaded and fried pieces of chicken? Just let me know. I'll give you time to say yes or no or maybe, or it could be a couple different things, but whatever you want to put in there. But do you think that uh, fried, when you read fried chicken strips, yeah, like chicken strips, yes. Depends. Does it say it comes with creamy gravy? No, dirty. It did not include gravy. It came with a house sauce and fries, is what they said. Also, hi, dirty. Happy to have you here. You had rang the bell before, so yes. Jam says yes. That is tenders to me. That is also tenders to me. These were beer battered, which what? Now, to be fair, they were good. They were bigger than I was expecting, and the beer batter was like pretty heavy. But to me, if I'm getting chicken tenders, you put that it's beer batter chicken tenders. Like chicken tenders does to me doesn't mean beer battered. It means fried. Like fried chicken tenders doesn't mean beer batter to me. And I was very surprised. And like I said, they weren't bad. They were fine. I liked them, but that's not what I was expecting, and it really fucking threw me off. Um, because they were like way heavier because they were beer battered and pretty big. It was like it was almost like I was getting like fish and chips, more than getting like chicken. Beer battered is way different texture. Yeah, totally. Because like here's the thing, in this area there is barbecue, but there's not a lot of like fried chicken. There are not a lot of fried chicken places. You kind of go to a fast food place for fried chicken around here. That's just the culture. Yeah, you need to call it beer battered tenders on the menu. That's what I'm saying. You get me? Because like I I got that because they had a chicken sandwich there that was grilled, and I was like in the mood for chicken, and I'm honestly in the mood for very good fried chicken. There's apparently a couple places around here that are good, and so we might get takeout of that. But the problem with getting the what I need to do is get it and eat it in the car because I don't want to drive more than like 10 minutes with fried chicken. I want to get it and eat it while it's hot and while it's hurting me to hold in my hands. So I kind of have to get it and eat in the car. Waterburger chicken tenders are like my go-to when I want chicken tenders. Yeah, but like honestly, what I want is a fried chicken breast or chicken thigh. Oh, fried chicken thighs. That's what I really want. And I knew that it wasn't going to be like incredible because it's a restaurant, open fine. But yeah, I was surprised, and I will say a bit disappointed in what I got because yeah, this just wasn't what I wanted. Um, uh, because really what I want, like I said, I want like a fried chicken thigh. I will also take a good fried chicken sandwich. Certainly, I'm not going to say no to that. Not going to turn down that option if it's presented to me. But it was, yeah, a little frustrating. Oh, I was surprised. I was like, who has beer batter as their default? Like it's like so common they don't say anything. It was weird. I'm gonna go on record and say it was weird, but it was fine. And the sauce was good. Their homemade sauce was tasty, very salty, like skin on French fries, very good. Like that, all the rest of it was good. Huge salad, weird chicken, right? Yeah, big old salad, which was nice. Uh, we got a Caesar salad because nobody in this house likes Caesar. So, or they do. Well, my dad doesn't at all. My mom doesn't get it. So I got a Caesar salad because I haven't had one in a while, and that was good. But yeah, it was strange. Strange things were afoot. Let's see. Are there other? I'm sorry that I don't have a lot going. Like I just literally don't have a lot going on right now. I would like to have more going on. I just don't. Um, Last night we streamed and I played a lot of we did the full demo for Storyteller, which is fun. You can find the archive. A VOD is up. Also, the archive is up on my second YouTube channel, um, at Bear VODs, and it's good. I think that like I will probably pick that game up because I think that it's pretty innovative and inventive. It's made by a very small team, which I appreciate, and I think that's neat. So yeah, I would like to check more of that out. We played the whole demo. We did everything we possibly could, which was still like a lot. And then we played a big long round of Dorf Romantic or Dorf Romantique, or as I accidentally called it for a brief moment, Dork Romantic. And if you don't think that I didn't clip that out to be a future best of Build with Bear, you're damn wrong. I think that was good. Lord Crashington says that Fulbright news is a big bummer. So, one, I agree. Two, if you don't know, um, there was finally some talk about some things that had been happening that had not been said. Um, uh, the word on Fulbright, the game company, Tacoma and Gone Home, and a future title that has not coming out, was that uh, it was a somewhat open secret for a bit that female employees left that company way more than other places in the indie space. Also, because of Gone Home and Tacoma, had was seemed like a place where people could go who felt marginalized in other big indie. Um, as the studio grew, because they attracted more people as they were making new games. Um, and it was some high profile people that had been big in the company when it was small left, and that's not always like um, people leaving when a thing gets bigger isn't always that like a red flag, right? Now it because like let's say like in the example, there's somebody I know who made some small games, was brought onto that team, got to work on a big game, left to continue to work on small games because that is that person's passion, right? That is the public statement. You can take that as fact. That seems totally reasonable. Then you learn, oh, also Steve Gaynor fucking sucks, and you're like, oh shit, okay. That his management style is manipulative, and that people were that he was like second guessing people, mocking them, micromanaging them, that he belittled them and made them feel unsafe and unwell. And then the problem with a small company like that was he's one of the co-founders. Who do you go to talk to someone about him? So some people were reaching out to former employees. They were risking their own safety and health by directly trying to talk to him. They went to the producer of the game, Annapurna, and being like, "Hey, this is happening." Um, and so the thing is, he's still in charge of Fulbright. Um, he's still working on that game. It's just he doesn't talk to his employees. He now goes through Annapurna as a mediator. So it's not like it's still fucked. It's still a fucked situation. Um, and we will say this: I did not have information about him per se, because you know, please know this: the Whisper Network is built on safety and security. So somebody who knows a lot of people in that, I don't hear everything. I know plenty of people who talk to each other and who are very vocal and active in indie spaces, but like I don't know everything. I do hear some things before other people. Often it is in reactionary, like let's say, "Hey, I heard you're reaching out to so and so about a thing." Don't. I will hear that on occasion when I've done some things. I'm not going to go into specifics, obviously, but yeah, I have heard things here and there. Um, but I will also say this: um, if the boss of any kind of company or project, if their personal Twitter account is the company's Twitter account, that's a red flag, and that's always been a red flag. And it was like it's one even when you're because the thing is, it wasn't just like his company and he brought other people in. He was one of a couple people that started it. Why did Steve Gaynor have like and eventually had to give it up, which makes sense, and change his name on Twitter, which makes a little bit like that's a red flag of like that's somebody who wants to be considered an auteur, and that is a huge red flag. So like, no, you can't do that. Uh, and a similar, not in similar in experiences, but in a similar way, um, uh, Chris Hardwick had Nerdist for far too long. And it was one thing when Nerdist was just a website that he had, but once he started having a employee, oh, they did though. Lord Crashington, they did. Um, the at Fulbright doesn't anything. The Fulbright Productions or something else is the official Twitter account. They handle it was just that he had at Fulbright, and then he eventually that became people that were following at Fulbright were now suddenly following like Steve Gaynor or whatever. Um, oh, and the company started. Yes, Lord Crescendo, I agree with you. So like Chris Hardwick had Nerdist because he owned Nerdist.com, right? And then once he started like people like writing for the website, and then he was like making stuff, and he like even before the podcast stuff, but especially once the podcast started, like it took a long time before he wasn't at Nerdist anymore because there was like Nerdist News and there was like another thing, and it was just like you shouldn't have the name of your company be your personal Twitter account. Like, don't do that. Looks at No Man's Sky. I mean, Lashbrook, I can't tell you anything, but that's not a good. That's not good. Uh, Now, I do understand that if somebody is the head or the figurehead of a company and they have a lot of Twitter followers, my friend Alex, who's a dirtbag boyfriend, no D, was talking about that, right? Uh, Soft Not Week is a collective that Alex and others are working in. Alex is the most famous of those people. Alex has the most followers of those people, and that dynamic does shift things even in a collective. Um, because like if you wanted to contact someone at Soft Not Week, you would probably contact the person who is the most well known. If you wanted to have somebody from Soft Not Week on your podcast, well, you're going to pick the person with the biggest following because their retweet will reach more people that will then watch your podcast or listen to your podcast, say watch your video, go to your website. So Alex becomes the the most important person at their company, which is bullshit, but is what's happening. Um, because people are like, well, I don't know anybody there. Oh, I actually, you know what? I did meet Alex at a convention, so like, I'll reach out to Alex. Like, that's just what happens. Those power dynamics are a thing. Um, uh, like some of the best things for studios is if you don't know, if you only know the creative lead because they've been the creative lead in a couple games you like, and you don't know anything else about them. Like that's actually for the best, and we gotta hope for that, right? It's when you start having auteurs and you start having like a blank game that like you do run the risk of conflating people uh, as the thing, unnecessary thing, because when you are necessary, when you are a cis white man and you have been deemed necessary, then people will bend over backwards to accommodate you. And because the people who get dismissed because of you or dismiss themselves because of you are deemed not as important because you got a fucking vibe, you got like cachet. That is dangerous because you start, even accidentally in cases, you start believing your own hype. You start thinking of yourself as integral to a project, and that can cause you to lash out, and it encourages bad behavior. And people say like, you know, we're starting to finally understand that um, the indie space isn't a safe space the way people naturally assumed it was. Uh, that like every industry, there are takers and there are abusers and there are people who, hey, maybe they maybe like the thing that the Whisper Network is certainly helpful for is the Whisper Network can help people get the word out of like, hey, this person left this company because of this stuff. That's why they're there, and they got VC funding from an old friend, and they're starting a company up. Like that, that can happen. Um, but it's tough, right? Because like sometimes people just move to another country or another region and they start over. And because they did some other stuff, they got name recognition. But because people are like worried about their own safety and own security, they don't say anything because they've got other things they've got to deal with. And they're like, shit, I wish I knew somebody. Or they don't know anybody at that new company. So they can't be like, hey, let me tell you about this thing. I need to tell you about this thing. You need somebody bodies that can keep the top people in check. Yes, accountability certainly. Um, which is I am, as always, an advocate for unionization. Unions do not solve all problems. Unions do not prevent problems, but unions give collective action and collective bargaining in the hands of the workers. Uh, Protections when, well, they can't prevent layoffs, but they can make sure that they can negotiate what those things are. They can fight for folks that come in. They can be a voice. If you have a union rep, you are more that you helped vote in. You are more likely to approach them than you are to approach HR, who does not work for you. They work to mitigate damage to the company, because uh, the human and human resources is you. You are it is not resources for humans. You are a commodity, and that person is in charge of keeping all of the commodities working at peak efficiency. Those it's not somebody that has resources to help you. It's someone whose job is to make sure that the human resources are doing what is necessary. And it fucking sounds draconian, but that is literally what it is. Um, and, hey, are there good HR departments out there? I'm sure there are. I'm sure there are good HR people who are looking out for everybody that got into this because they want to be resources for people and they want to help people and they want to do stuff. But then there are also people out there who are like very good at this. And what this is, you know, like it is no surprise that the people that Activision hired, who you are supposed to reach out to, uh, clearly, in the event of calling in like unsafe work conditions or whatever, are also people who will help companies fight the process of unionization. Like it is, uh, and are used to intimidate and mitigate and to not allow mitigation. That is why one of the first things collective actions do is try to get rid of forced mediation. Uh, because forced mediation, the people that are, because the company hires the people that mitigate. The people that come in, that when you are forced to do this, where you have a complaint, you have an issue, and you are forced to go through this, they hire a company. That company is their vested interest to continue their company. HR is not there to protect the company nor the people. Is there to protect the company, not the people? Yes, but this company that like this company that does this, right, that comes in, they are hired and their contracts continue if they do a good job. And what is that job? It is to make sure that the company comes out ahead. So they are, yeah. So that forced like contract thing of if there is an issue, you have to settle it in house. Can't sue. You can't file paperwork in any way, shape, or form. All of that is to continue to control people. Uh, it is, yeah, it is fucking, it fucking sucks. And collective bargaining, collective actions can help mitigate that quite a bit. It's not a get out of get, it is not. I was gonna say not a get out of jail free card, but that's the other side. Um, uh, it's not a smoking gun. It is not evidence. I just watched a 2 hour training video on EEO and the meditation zone on Monday. Uh, Dirty, I don't know any of that. It's yes. Okay, I don't know what EEO is. I have to watch it every year. Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. I mean, look, sometimes those corporate training things are helpful because, the ones on like cybersecurity and like, hey, don't write your password down. Hey, don't leave your computer unlocked at work with your personal email open. Equality employment opportunity. Okay, yeah, I did not know what that stood for. Um, like those, like, hey, this is what phishing means. Um, don't click on that. If someone sends you just like an attachment that from a stranger, don't open it. Uh, like all that stuff. I think that can be helpful, but a lot of those things, um, uh, I have I have certainly like dealt with a little bit because I have been in the management role for a bit. I get to watch a video about what to do in active shooter situation. Ooh, that or crashing. Then yeah. Fuck, fuck, dude. Uh, rough. But yeah, I've watched some training video stuff for various jobs here and there, but um, we didn't have mediation necessary for any of the jobs I've had, which is great. Uh, but yeah, it's to keep that corporate structure going. All part of the process. They got rid of the video on that last year, and gave us a slide deck instead. Okay, yeah. Um, I did get a CPR like course. I didn't get a certificate for doing it, unfortunately, but I did get like an emergency preparedness like course that I was not required to take because I was not a house manager, a theater manager at the time, but as the head tech, I was at the venue quite often, so they encouraged me to go to it, and I didn't have to pay for it, which is great. But I went to that because that was good. That was a good use of my time, was to refresh myself with CPR and yeah, that was a they gave us a DVD, which I thought was very fun. Um, but yeah, that was a good course. I think that was probably the best. Like, hey, come to this thing I had seen. That was good. Um, Slide decks without audio commentary is the worst way for me to train. Dirty, yeah, that does not sound like a good way to train. That does sound like a bad way to do things. All right, so we got to put this on here. Is that right? Or is it the other way? It was the other way. The video we watch features a guy taking a laptop and cracking the shooter in the face with it from behind corner. Very good timing. Um, what? I'm kind of dumbfounded by the idea that now is that um what not to do, or is that a thing they're encouraging people to do, which is try to contain it, try to defend themselves by taking out this person? I'm a little confused, Lord Grashton, about like, is that like a hey, don't like take a swing at a guy with a laptop? Because that feels, I don't know, that feels weird. Again, I should say, haven't had to watch a video about that, so maybe I'm being foolish there, and everyone's just like, what? No, yeah, 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 man, you get done. Yeah, that feels putting yourself in even more risk. I don't know. Doesn't sound great to me. All right, so we got to put this on here. Got our arm done, and we got to do another hand, and let's do a closed fist that we can hold things in. F19. But yeah, that kind of got me dumbstruck a little bit there. Not gonna lie. The lesson is the worst case scenario. Use whatever you can to try to stop them. So these people gather items and hide around a corner and somehow know the perfect time to attack. They knock the hell out of him and then take the gun away from him. Yeah, all right. The most pressing video we need to watch is one which tells us that we should not get into a sexual relationship with a student. Look, Aristophan, I mean, one, yeah, that is very depressing. And two, it is again also depressing that that is the thing that you gotta like make sure people get. To like, hey, we had, hey, like that video should just be like, hey, we had to make a video. Think about that. We're making this video right now. We had to make this video. This is a big enough problem that we had to make a video about it. That's awful. Well, great. Um, uh, when I got copy striked on YouTube, I had to watch a video about like what is fair use. Like, hey, here's things that we people assume is fair use and isn't, and all that. And that wasn't like that was like kind of well done. Like they hired YouTubers to make it. Basically, they hired like like animation YouTube, which I don't know a lot about. Um, but it was like a fine, well produced video. But it was very funny to just be like, oh, this is the kind of industrial video you have to watch when you're when one of your 404 it videos gets accused of being like a copyright strike. But I had to watch it and then answer some questions in order to get my strike removed in like 2 months. So fingers crossed. I would love to continue to have that YouTube account. In my scenario, I'm usually outside, so I'd run to my car and drive the fuck away from that scenario. Yes. Well, good, Lord Crashing. Yeah. Yeah, just drive the fuck away. All right, we're going to move on to our legs, starting with the feet and working our way up. Because we finished the arms here, because we do have our card here. I don't know why we have a card, but we do have a card. But first, we're going to take a pause for the cause, because that's what we do around here. Is the middle of every stream, I just do my ad break, where I tell you a couple of reasons, ways to help out. Is that like the YouTube version of defensive driving? It is. It is basically like it is that version of like driver's safety school. Yeah, I have to complete a little thing um, in order to get my strike removed, and also it takes time. If I don't get any other problems, it'll go away, which should be fine. Um, uh, but I have thought about taking all of the 404 videos down. I don't want to, but I have considered doing that to further protect my channel in the future. I am probably going to take down all of the archives of my Twitch Sing streams because that's just a sitting duck waiting for a problem. So I am considering that. Anyway, that's another thing. I'm throwing the Barricade Lego Site emote in the chat. If you're currently a subscriber, you can reply with those emotes. Let the people know that you are a subscriber. We love to see it. If you are not a subscriber, consider subscribing. We're going to get through this real quick and get back to building. Don't worry. Talk about some anime. But yeah, if you're not a subscriber, consider it. You could give somebody a sub if you wanted to, and you could join the gift sub leaderboard. You could donate up some bits and coins and join the cheer leaderboard. Right now, the top of the cheer board is the Ja with just 10. So it's very easy to get into that leaderboard. But yeah, if you gifted a sub, you join the leaderboard there, which resets monthly. And I would appreciate it very much. I've got other ways to support what we do here. I'm going to bring that up. But that is one of the easiest ways. If you have a Prime Gaming token from Amazon Prime, you link to your Amazon with your Twitch, you could use that. And that would be stupendous if you wanted to do that. That's another way to support me. Alternately, if you don't want to do this, you don't want to support on Twitch, which I get, I got a Patreon. Because, of course, I got a Patreon. Patreon.com/PatBear. $1, $3, $5, $10 tiers. Different rewards at each tier. Videos a day early. Voting on what I build. Voting on what I play as far as games. There are many things that are in that. And you're more than welcome to check that out. I mentioned I have a YouTube channel. Well, that is youtube.com/PatBear. Now, of course, subscribing is free over there on YouTube. And please, please like, comment, and subscribe over my YouTube. But also, you could join if you want to do that. You get like $2 a month. You get one video a day early. That is a way to support what I do. It's a fairly easy way to support me. Let's see, what else I have to tell you about? I have, okay, direct donations. Because everything I make goes into me buying kits. So everything from Patreon and Twitch and YouTube all goes into buying model kits and equipment. But also, if you wanted to do a one-time donation, you could. That would go into that. And I appreciate that. You know, all of that is optional. None of these are things you have to do. But if you'd like to, then that would be pretty fucking rad. So jump in on that if you wanted to. I have an Amazon wish list. And so if you wanted to buy something on that list, I'd shoot a video about the thing you bought. It's called the mailbag video because I get it and open it up and talk about it. And then you jump the queue. Because like I said, I got some stuff coming to the mail. I got stuff that I ordered. I got some Lego and model kits and all that. But if you want to make sure that I build the thing you want me to build, you could buy it and then I'll build it. I got Lego. I just added the McLaren Elva, which is a very shiny blue car Lego set that doesn't have a roof. I just put that on the list because got brought to my attention that exists. I don't know shit about that car, but it fucking looks great. So I'd like to build that McLaren. I've got Lego sets. I've got high grades, master grades, old kits, new kits, equipment at the bottom, all kinds of different things that I would be pleased as punch to build on stream. And like I said, if you bought it from there, you jump the queue. Alternatively to that, if you're not interested in buying anything on Amazon, which I get, you could buy a gift card to USA Gundam store, and then you just send me the code via the magic of open DMs. You get a gift card code in in your mail, and then you could email, and then you can copy and paste that code to me, and then I would buy something on the website with your money, and then it would get shipped to me, and I built it. That's how that works. For free, you want to like support me for free? Join my Discord. Discord is cool. I post about once a day, maybe once every couple days. People post stuff they're working on. People talk about projects. They send me links of things that they're interested in. Other people are. It's a very chill Discord, and you're welcome to be there. We'd love to have you. Um, let's see, what else did I want to say? I got a couple of video links for you. Pat Bear's Anime Club. I got put a new episode out on Monday. If you haven't seen this new Pat Bear's Anime Club video, it is me ranking all of the isekai that came out this season. That's right. Um, there are 11 isekai airing right now, and I rank all of them using Tier Maker. So if there's, that might appeal to you. The other thing is the Best of Build With Baer is a weekly series. Every Wednesday I put a new episode out. It is just a clip from one of my streams. Lashbrook reports that, speaking of, I am proud to report my Banshee Norn now has a head. Hell yeah. Lashbrook has been giving us project updates on our Discord. But yeah, Best of Build With Baer. This one was about how a particular deck that I played in Hearthstone was actually good as long as certain conditions were met. And it's a short little clip, and it's got baked in subtitles because I can just do that. I am thinking that those clips also might start appearing other places besides YouTube. When I put it on YouTube, I might also put it out somewhere else. I'm thinking I might do that on another service because they're short little clips. I don't know if I'm going to do that. I'm talking about like Instagram and maybe TikTok. I might use my TikTok. I might. Yes, yeah. So we're crashing. That's Pornhub. Yes, yeah. No, I might put I might put those up on Tik. I might make TikToks of recycled material and not brand new material. I'm thinking I might start posting some TikToks. I'm going to stop saying that because it might become true, and that's going to be weird. Anyway, this little clip I thought was good, and I hope you check it out. Anyway, I'm going to drink some water. We're going to talk about some anime because I got the three shows to talk to you about, and all of them are isekai because I was gonna watch the Aquatope on White Sand today, which is a Thursday anime. So I had one show that wasn't an isekai. But the problem is, I got real busy today and didn't get around to it because the other shows I could watch because they come out on Tuesday and Wednesday. So I didn't, and so I don't know when I'm going to fit that in, but I'm going to watch it. I'm probably going to watch it and talk to you about it on Saturday. Um, but yeah, I mean, I'm bummed because I really like that show. It's one of my favorite shows of the season. I just didn't get to it. Uh, so so yeah. Anyway, we're going to talk about three anime shows, and I'm going to get back to building because I've been just chatting at you for too long. It's hey, guess what? It's leg day. We're gonna start with the feet, and then we're gonna move on to other things. Unfortunately, this has big stickers on them, but we can do this two at a time. So we're gonna do that. But yeah, we'll get our card captor over here. Um, so let's talk about that time I got reincarnated as a slime, season two, the second half of season two. We are still preparing for war, and we're preparing for the great meeting of the demon lords. We have figured out Clayman isn't going to like attack Tempest thinking that they're heavily damaged. Clayman is going to attack the animal kingdom, the carrion, who is presumed dead or kidnapped, uh, and those were the guys that like this was all a plot by carrion and whatever, blah blah, and which is clearly is not, but whatever. That's the story they're going with. So uh, that sucks because the city's already been raised and the armies are kind of scattered, and so like innocent beast people are going to get hurt, which sucks. Um, but Rimuru figures out with the help of his ultimate skill, Raphael. Oh wait, I have the power to teleport huge groups to different locations, which is not a common thing and not a thing anyone would expect. Specifically, Clayman would not expect that shit. So he's going to take. Um, he also Clayman might expect Rimuru to go to the demon meeting because I don't think he knows that Rimuru is in contact with the little fairy spirit Ramorous, but uh, he is. So he's going to go to the meeting. Um, there is a very cute little thing because, like, it doesn't seem like anybody real. Most people don't recognize that the butler, the assistant he's got, Diablo, who is a like they're like most of them are like, oh yeah, he's a powerful demon, but I don't think enough of them recognize that he is like an arcane primordial, like one of the original demons. I don't think they recognize that he is like a big fucking deal. Um, anyway, but yeah, Diablo and Shion are starting to see eye to eye, which I like. I like that they're like the thing that all these beasts have in common is they like think Rimuru fucking rules, and that is very fun. So if you also think Rimuru rules, then they're like, oh, you get it. Let's see. Let's see. Oh yeah, so Rimuru's going to take Shion and Ranga to this thing, which is good, and then also they recognize that like, hey, if I need to, I can have Veldora show up because Veldora, and he'll just come special because of our link. Um, and then finally, I want to say this. So this is like episode like 40. We've known Milliam since like halfway through season one. We finally got to see some of her supporters who are dragon worshippers, and they're basically just like warrior monks. They were in the Slime Diaries. So they actually appeared in the Slime Diaries before they appeared in the main story, which is kind of a bummer for those guys because they don't have a lot going on. I mean, they're just like strong warrior monks. Is basically what their deal is. Um, sticker. We gotta apply a huge big sticker on here, which I don't love, but whatever. Gotta do what you gotta do. Let's see what else happens in this episode that I want to tell you. Um, let's see. Oh yeah, they're not happy that they have to help with Clayman's invasion. They think that, uh, but they do wonder if Milliam is actually under some sort of spell or is just playing with him. Um, Rumu has the orcs build temporary housing to accommodate. Basically, so they show up, and it's not just like here's our armies. He's just like they just go and like get all of the refugees and bring them and like build temporary housing for them, and just basically like, hey, this is gonna be a battlefield, so you come with us. And then he like addresses all of the combined army, and I gotta tell you this, folks. Some of this doesn't look good. Some of this looks CGI, real bad CGI of like some of these armies, but it's like there are other orcs which we never talk about, but like Shion has like an orc. No, Benimaru has some orcs. One of the things I thought was very cool is Shion's group, who's going to stay and protect the city because she is going up to a meeting. Shion's group is made up of hobgoblins and goblins uh, who were killed uh, during the invasion. Like he basically like, took all of them and put them under Shion, which is because they all have like a similar score to settle, which I just thought was like kind of neat. And I think that's an anime invention, but that was cool. Rimuru is basically just like, hey, sending you to war. So they're all going to go to war. And hopefully we get that in the next episode, and things are picking up. The pace is picking up, and we're gonna get some cool battles and see some people get fucking owned uh pretty soon. Be some dudes getting real messed up, and we'll get into more of these overpowered characters. You know, the first half of the season was them getting their getting some hardships, and now it's getting putting the boots to some bad dudes, which is gonna be real good. Um, Drugstore in Another World is just a different kind of show. It's an isekai that I now have read the first two chapters of the manga, and I can tell you that while that one also skips over a bunch of stuff, the anime is just like, yeah, you don't care about any of this. Here you go. It's a dude. His name is Reggie. He was isekai. We don't know how. We don't learn how. He's got a wolf girl that he calls a werewolf. She's a beast girl, but because he calls her a werewolf, she calls herself a werewolf. Okay. And there's a ghost named Mina. And honestly, Mina's great. She's just like a good, fun ghost who's like lives in that house and was like, she's like before he moved in, which is not, this is not in the anime, this is the manga, but I wish it was. I hope there's a flashback of it. Basically, she's just like, it's so weird. I would like greet the new people that came by, and they would like run away. So weird. And they would like hate it. It's like so strange. Like I was just doing my job of like hanging out and haunting the place, um, which I just really liked. She's got good vibes. Anyway, this episode was mostly about a new character whose name is Rurika. Rurika is a new character. She's an elf girl, and she's there to take part in the hunting competition as part of this festival because her brother won it a bunch, and she wants to show up, have her brother respect her and see how she's grown. So she turns to Reggie, who helps her a lot and encourages her and like gives her some confidence and like basically comes up with like a game plan for this hunting competition that like if she follows she'll do well, and she does, and it's real nice. But here's the thing, when she wins she really wants to go tell Reggie because uh-oh, she's fallen for Reggie. And then she sees Reggie and Mina together, and that's kind of when she figures out, oh, I'm jealous of this, my heart aches for this. Ooh, I like this guy. um and maybe there's gonna be more to that, who knows. um but then later, Mina has a problem. So this is episode 5, and you'd think that this would have come up sooner, but Mina can't leave the house. She is a ghost who is tied to this, and if she goes a certain pace outside, she instantly warps back into the house. And you'd think they would have dealt with that, I don't know, before now, but they haven't. They have not dealt with that yet. Uh, so now they're like, okay, well, we got to deal with this. We got to figure this out. And so they search the house. They have a guy come over and like, because they think maybe it's in the basement. Maybe that's what she's being pulled towards. But they don't have access to the basement, so they get a guy to come over and like build them a door, to the cellar. Um, and they find a brooch that her mother gave her, and that she was like, hold on to this until I'm older. So now she got it, and she's tied to the brooch. So as long as she has the brooch in her pocket, she can leave. Um, so now she can go outside, which is very cute. And she's like, now I can go shopping with y'all and like do stuff outside. And it was just really sweet. She's so happy that she's like crying. It's just really nice. Now every episode usually ends with the three characters like in the shop saying like, "Hey, thanks for stopping by. Hey, we're closed for the day," and it's like a nice little thing. This episode ended with her outside on the swing, saying goodbye to everybody, instead of being in the shop in the house. And it was just like, I don't know. This show is like so like fine. It's like easily fine and like totally digestible. I don't know. I thought that was a really sweet moment of like this girl who has been stuck in this house for so long now can kind of get out, and so they showed it in the anime, and I don't know. I thought that was neat. Uh, there's a whole little extra little story that I don't even need to bring up. That was cute, but yeah, this was sweet and nice, and that show is good. I recommend it if you're like, I would like a low pressure, easy slice of life isekai, then that's the show for you because it is. It's real. It's real. It's a real easy watch. Um, okay, and now I'm going to tell you about kind of a boring episode. Not much happened in Tsukimichi Moonlit Fantasy, which is one of the better isekai this season. It is about a dude named Makoto who was summoned to a fantasy world, but the goddess is like, nope, not. I did not want this. Sticks him on the edge of the earth. Humans find him ugly, um, but he has been accepted by the beast people. Um, and now he has like gear that allows him to blend in with humans. So the demon ladies, they got to go to a new town, along with some of the heroes, the adventurers they rescued. They're gonna guide them to a new place because they really wrecked the last town in the last episode. Um, so and they erase their memories basically, except for two of them, the sisters. Um, our dragon girl, Tome, goes off to train alone, and it's referenced later that people can't contact her, and that's kind of worrying. But maybe she'll just wait to show up. I don't know what's going on with that, but there is certain plot things that people are like worried because she's not there. This is really a setup. They have a farewell meal. Um, and then Mio thinks there's going to be like romance because she's finally alone uh, with uh, with Makoto. She's the spider lady, and there is no romance. And in fact, they have two beds, and she does like wonder, should I destroy one of the beds that share a bed? And she doesn't get the chance. And she's like, nah, I should have broken that bed. Um, they go back to the demi plane because conveniently he's figured out how to also go, so they don't have to be with Toma, with the dragon lady to go do that. Um, well, 12. What was this? Okay, got to put a sticker on. Sorry, goes like this. Put a sticker right there. Okay, got to put a sticker on this. I didn't know where it went. Um, let's see. Oh yeah. Uh, some of the spider people are learning how to transform to look like humans so they can better help out with or with Makoto's stuff. There's some new gear that looks pretty dope. That's going to even suppress his aura even better, but it's not ready. But it does look cool. It does look like some cool outfit. Um, and then Makoto's like, well, I'm trying to follow my parents' footsteps, and part of that is going to do quests. So he goes to turn in a quest, and the person is like, "No, this won't do at all." And we don't know what that means. It could be a red herring that this is going to be like a joke character who's like, "Nah, you're not sassy enough," or whatever. Uh, or it could be that they just they're at odds. But we'll see. We'll find out in the next episode. And yeah, like I said, this one is interesting. Like I said, this episode wasn't strong. There have been stronger episodes, but I do like the premise. I do like the overpowered main character. It's still like if he was a different personality, he'd just be like, I'm hanging out with monsters. I got this kingdom now. This is gonna work out pretty great. Um, like this is interesting. This will be fine. But instead, he's like, humans hate me, and I'm a human. And I want to like do adventures like my parents did. So like some of the conflict is of his own making, which I like, even if he is incredibly overpowered, which he is. Still pretty cool. And yeah, I'll watch Aqua, Aquatope of the White Sand probably and talk about it on Saturday stream because I will of course be streaming on Saturday, folks. What, am I not going to stream on Saturday? That's the day I stream. But we're still going with this. We've got time left in the stream as I work on these legs that I can just do at the same time. So now's the part of the stream where I turn to you, the folks watching or listening or whatever you're doing, and I ask you to please tell me what you watching, what you playing, what you doing, um, what's going on with you. Like I said, I've been reading since earlier. I'm reading some manga. I'm having fun reading that. Uh, yeah, like I said, right now I'm reading Skeleton Knight, which I'm enjoying. It's a pretty fun story. I like the characters. Uh, and I didn't say the thing about Skeleton Knight is the Skeleton Knight has a cute little fox friend that is very fun and cute. And that's just neat and helpful. And I think that's great. But yeah, been enjoying one of the new GB shows, Born to Run. Yes, Lord Crashing It. I love their chemistry. I have not watched all of I'm a little behind on the latest episode, but I do enjoy the two because I don't particularly enjoy watching people play the Souls games, the Soulsborne games. I don't particularly enjoy watching people do that. But in this case, I will make the exception because they are very fun. And also, it is produced well. It's not just raw footage of them fucking up over and over and over again and getting furious. So I have been enjoying that. Yeah, I haven't checked out all the new stuff. There's at least one show I don't care about, and maybe it'll be really good, and I will. But I think that's awesome that there's like that the content is varied enough. Like I don't know if I have a room for another podcast in my life, but if I do have room for another podcast in my life, it would be hearing Jan be excited about Power Rangers because I think that's cool. Um, and I'm particularly interested in him dipping into other ones. Uh, the way they cut to Brad and Vinny beating one of the bosses was well done. Yes, I think acknowledging the history of the website, especially because that's not a Jeff game. So like the guys who that was a game for them, like acknowledging that this is stuff that has been covered, I think is fun. That's a fun bit of business. Um, but yeah, I like I said, I haven't listened to Jan's podcast. I'm glad he's working on a cool project. I think that's fun, and I like the idea of Jan having some premium content. That's fucking cool. But yeah, I'm not like oh yeah, I might have to check that out. That might be a I'll think I check out. Yeah, well, I'm excited. There's some content coming in, and even if I don't necessarily think all of it is for me, because that is a thing that a drum I will beat forever is doesn't have to all be for me. Just listen to Jansu Props yesterday. It was really good. Oh, nice, Love. Vatranka. Haven't had time for the other stuff yet, but I will this weekend. Cool, yeah. Like, I like Jeff Grubb as a person. I think Jeff Grubb does great work out there. I don't really care about rumors. Like I've never been I don't read dirt sheets for wrestling. I don't read articles on leaks and stuff. Like that's just not ever been my thing. So like Jeff's show doesn't necessarily appeal to me. But other people are fucking psyched to talk to Jeff Grubb about all that stuff, and they have questions, and they have their own stuff, and they read Reddit threads and leaks, and they go through the documents of all the people. Grub Snacks is the one show not for me since I don't care for leaks. Yeah, that's the thing, right? But I know there are plenty of people that are like, this is a thing I'm so psyched because like Giant Bomb does news, but they talk about like the big things, but they don't talk about like this thing and this person and this notable like they don't like I'm sure there are people who are like so fucking psyched about that show, and that's awesome. Like I said, it's not a thing that appeals to me, but I'm glad that it's there for people that are excited about that, and there's more variety of things. um Dustin Forrester, thank you so much for subscribing. half a year. That's 6 months. Thank you so much. Let's throw the Barricade Lego site the moat in the chat. And thank Dustin for doing that. Oh, and we're now getting hosted by Kuris. Thank you for hosting the stream. Appreciate that very much. Welcome, welcome. Um, I'm excited for another All Systems Goku, but for Power Rangers. Yeah, I mean that's kind of what we're getting. I'm also excited about them kind of delving into stuff they haven't seen, which could be cool. Because there's a lot. Look, hey folks, there's a lot of Pokemon out there. Also, I do have to put in the Bear Cave Lego site emote because we got to put those emotes in the chat because Dustin resubbed, so we got to do that. But yeah, I'm always excited about new stuff, and the number one thing is if people are like getting to do shit they're excited to do. They're like, this is a thing I'm excited about doing. I now get to do this thing. Um, that always makes me happy, right? Like, uh, it's like being on a podcast for some people is part of their job, and they're like, oh shit, it's this day I gotta record this. Okay, well, it's part of the job. But when you bring contract workers, like you bring Danny O'Dwyer in to be on the Giant Bombcast, well, if you know Danny O'Dwyer for any period of time, he's so fucking psyched to be on that podcast. So like, it's not a prerequisite, but it is neat. It is a thing that you can look at and go, oh, well, that's fucking cool. Hell yeah. Danny talking to uh uh like tutors, in and around the community about games is like a no-brainer and sounds very fucking cool, and I'm excited about it. Also, more Jan-led content, please, especially the that don't crush his Pokemon soul. Yes. Yeah, I think Jan leading some stuff is always fun. I've liked Jan's one-offs that he's done. Of course, all of the Ben and Jan content was fantastic, and you hope that there can get some vibes with Jan and some people. Um, I want a one-off of Jan and Jan the barber, his barber his name is also Jan. I definitely want a one-off of those two talking about stuff because I think that would be just like fun. In the same way that it's that thing where it's just like, well, of course Dan's gonna talk to his dad on a podcast. Like he's gonna record something when he's in Kansas City. Like, why wouldn't he do that? Like it's a no-brainer. Like sometimes those no-brainers, I feel like you gotta get into. You gotta really get while the getting's good on that stuff. If obviously people are willing and interested in doing that, but I think that stuff is fun. All right, get that there. Also, uh, I need proof that Jan exists. I have seen an Instagram video or it was YouTube. I can't remember what it was, but there was a video that Jan linked to of that Jan opening Pokemon cards, and I watched a good half of it, so I can say there is another Jan out there. That Jan is there. Again, I apologize. I can't remember what exactly it was, but I did watch it, or like what service it was on. But yeah, also real good graphics for all the new shows. I think all the new shows have great graphics. Um, but yeah, I mean, like there's some stuff that like I'm just like I don't know any of these people. I don't know what this thing is, and I think that's also awesome because I want that, right? Like, um, when the first batch of stuff was announced, it was to me a little bit of the new Giant Bomb stuff. I was like, oh, I hope there's more because I know every single person they just listed here. I know all of these people. Oh, I hope there's a few more things. And there are. And they do involve some people I don't know too well. But it was like, oh, that's bad if the person I know the least in all of this is somebody that I've watched do things for several years on the internet. That's not good. And of course, I'm active in groups and I know people from industry stuff and I've been around for a while, but I am not in games press or games journalism or anything like that. I'm just a dude that knows a lot of people and hangs out. So like I was like, oh, I hope they bring in some people I don't know because that's important. Um, And yes, am I a little annoyed that there are yet more comedians that get to do stuff on Giant Bomb and that are not me? Yes, I'm annoyed by that. Of course, I'm annoyed by that. There are New York City based comedians with a podcast on Giant Bomb that aren't me. Well, yeah, I'm not mad. I'm not mad. Don't no, I'm not mad. I was like, oh, cool, all right. Uh, that's neat. They're people I like know of. I don't think I've met any of them, but I know of them from various things. I'm aware. Uh, New York's a big place, right? But I also haven't lived there since last summer, so they're obviously they were there before that. But it was the thing where I was like, oh yeah, you're gonna get those folks in, huh? Yeah, all right, okay. Same way, it was just like, oh, you're gonna hire an improviser, uh, and a house manager at a comedy theater. Oh, okay. All right, so I got to put. When I'm gonna need these here. Got to put another sticker on these things. But yeah, I am excited for some Giant Bomb stuff. Also, shout out to Nextlander, who now follows me here on Twitch. Appreciate that. That's unnecessary. It will also it is nice if they happen to raid me, because that would be fucking cool. But mostly it was just like, oh, nice. Salty Pat is a good pat. Yeah, I mean, look, I also don't get that. I will say these days I get more like fired up about like just like being mad about bullshit than I do like get salty about things. Because I just don't have a lot to complain about in that regard, so I don't get salty too much. But yeah, look, those things do like kind of like get under my skin a little bit. I'm like, all right. Um, Also, I will say this: Abby and I knew of Abby because she worked at a theater that I hadn't been to a lot at the time, but I knew people very well, and I had known her name, and there were mutuals. We had plenty of mutuals. Um, she knew me because she was in a community that I had been in a very long time, like 17 years. I had been in that community off and on in some way, shape, or form. So she knew of me. But like it was a thing where I was just like, oh yeah. She's a much better video person than I am. That makes a lot of sense for the job she got hired for. I was like, oh, that's cool. But it was like when Abby got hired, I was just like, huh, Brooklyn comedian hired there, huh? All right. Yeah, yeah, you can go like that. You can do that. Yeah. But yeah. Um, I did apply for Jan's job before it became Jan's job when it was just a San Francisco based video producer. I will say that I have only applied for a job from Giant Bomb twice, and one of them is for Jan, and one of them was the general that then didn't happen. You might remember when some people left and then they didn't hire anybody, but there was a period where they were looking and then they just didn't hire anyone. I did apply at that time when they were supposedly looking for people, which they then didn't hire. But yeah, I did apply for the San Francisco-based job, not the East Coast-based job. I did apply for the job that eventually Jan got, Drew's job, basically, kind of, sort of, not really, because uh, Jason took over a lot of those responsibilities. But I uh, did apply for that job. And I am not a great video editor, which I shouldn't say out loud, but it's true. I'm not a great video editor. It's not a particularly great fit for me. Now that I replaced the part I broke, the universe demands sacrifice, and I seem to have lost a different one. Oh no! Well, Lashbrook, I'm sure it's somewhere. It's a big kit, and so I'm sure you'll find it. And so my thoughts are with you, my friend, that you find this missing piece and can get this shit together. We're almost done with the legs, which is very cool because these look real good. This purple doesn't really need marker. I'm putting a little marker on it, but it really doesn't need it. Um, so let me get this part of the leg done here. If this piece goes in right. And that piece went in right. Great. Sometimes the polycaps don't necessarily want to line up right because this is a big piece of the leg here. This is a big chunky leg. Big armored leg here for high grade. Um, complaining on the internet worked. Oh, hell yeah, Lastbrook. I'm glad. Well, also, it might have been complaining, but it also might have just been distracting yourself for a moment so you could type the words that you were, that you type those out, and that just gave enough time for the universe to reset it a little bit, and suddenly, booyah, you did it. All right, so again, I got these polycaps here, and I got to line them up right and keep my eyes on them to make sure it's all going to connect well. Because if it doesn't, it'll be annoying. It was resting on the shoulder joint, blended right in. Hell yeah! Well, I'm glad you found it. But yeah, speaking of job stuff, I don't have anything to report on job stuff. I'm still actively looking for things. I am trying to find work that I can, more contract work that I can do from home, and less things that would cost a lot of money, like in gas to go to, that pay nothing, that expose me to lots of people because nobody fucking wears a mask around here anymore. And it can be very hard to find places that do in the near future, because this county is one of the worst counties for COVID in the whole state, which um, you don't have to be you don't have to agree to know. I think sucks ass. I think it's total shit that we are dealing with this right now. It's unbelievable garbage. Uh, that there's so many COVID cases in this area. Well, yeah, it's gonna be real hard. But yeah, I mean, I am actively pursuing work and looking. Like I said, I'm mostly looking for contract stuff or short term or long term that I can do uh, here and that doesn't require me travel. Um, hopefully in fields that I enjoy, but also, I they hired more people to do. They hired more people than they probably need at the place that I'm a contractor for customer service, but they didn't hire me, which is annoying because I would have taken the job. But they did not offer it, did not hire me, so I cannot do that. It's annoying. I mean, I don't want to do customer service as a full time job or a part time or even a steady part time gig. I don't want to do customer service. I don't like it, but it is a thing I am trained to do and can do and am pretty dang good at. So I will do it. So I am actively working on that, and we'll see if we can get that into money. Um, let's see. I had someone who I will not mention at the moment email me about the possibility of me working an event for them that is in February of next year. And would I be interested? And I said, um, well, it depends on the work and how much money it is and that kind of thing. Um, and partially like where we are in the world, uh, where COVID is like. It isn't the largest convention, but uh, and it is a southern convention, so it certainly could happen. Oh, I just want to check this right now. What I got going there? Oh, cool. One of the got a thing shipping in the mail. Hell yeah. From Amazon. Check this thing here. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know if that's gonna happen, but I was like, okay, we can talk about it. You want to talk about it? Uh, So who, like I said, who knows? I'm not saying that's definitely going to happen or is likely to happen or could possibly happen, but I am I am not in a position where I can be like, no. What? No. So again, we'll see. All right, I gotta get these feet on here. The problem with this polycap is it's like connected on the sides, but there's nothing like on the backing of it. So this is actually kind of annoying to get this to line up right and go through all the way. But I think I did. But yeah, these feet don't, yeah, this does not seem stable. This leg does not seem stable. It feels like it moves a lot, but hopefully it'll be okay. I'm going to do both of these legs here, and then we'll do the connector. Uh, the worst kind of discrimination is the kind against me, says Lord Crashington. Okay. Uh, Lord Crashington, I don't get the context of what you just said there. If you want to, if you'd like to clarify what you meant, are you referencing something that I said? I'm not sure what you mean by that. So if you would like to clarify, you're more than welcome to, friend. Because I don't. I think it's a Simpsons joke. Oh, okay. You're making a reference, but you're not sure about the reference? Okay. Uh, then we'll say okay. We'll just go with that. D39. Let's see. Other things. Anything else that I was gonna say? Oh, um, multiple people in the Olymp. You know, in the Olympics, you can do your like victory pose. Um, there's been more than one person that has made a reference to One Piece, including an American who did the super, which is Frankie's thing, where he puts his arms like this. Like, can't. It's not gonna read. Maybe I'll do this. Like, he just goes like super. Uh, somebody did that at the fucking Olympics, and that is real weird and cool. And I believe there was at least one other person that's done something similar. And that's real weird. This is the weird thing. Random thought when you're talking about striking out on the job hunt. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, it was that. That is some context that was necessary, Lord Crushton. So I appreciate the context. But yeah, yeah, somebody did a pose. I mean, there's been like the occasional like Dragon Ball reference here and there, and especially with it being like Olympic anime nerds in Japan, like that makes a lot of sense. Like if you were gonna do a reference to an anime, this would be the place to do it. Someone did it the second gear pose. Okay, last work, yeah, because I had heard there'd been because uh yes, I did see the windsurfer with the Avatar era. Well, there was like a trio of people that their gear or their warm up gear or something was Avatar: The Last Airbender related. Um, so I did see that. But yeah, okay, I heard because like when the guy did the super thing, one of the first responses I saw was someone just being like, another One Piece reference, and I was like, wait, what was the other one? And I didn't manage to figure that out or catch that. So, oh, okay, so the gear second. Well, that's cool. I mean, I think, 'cause I like that stuff. Um, yeah, that is some nonsense. Like I said, I'm not super into the Olympics ever, but I do like when nerdy people get to indulge with their nerd stuff. Like I think that is fun. I like that very much. Like I love that one of the guys whose gimmick often is he loves fighting and he loves to hurt people and it's Sheamus and he's like, oh, he's a tough man. And you're like, yeah, but when you were a face, you would come down and a tag team, you would come down to the ring and do the fusion dance. So a little bit of the fusion dance with so it's like how fucking badass are you? I mean, he is. He's a strong man. But uh, come on. They wouldn't do the whole fusion dance. They would just do the fingers touching each other part of it. Uh, Him and Cesaro. Oh yeah. I'm not even gonna fucking talk about Matt Caster other than to say his name, and he should shut the fuck up. But if you want to Google Matt Caster uh, in the news and see what complete and utter bullshit that person brought out, uh, and that nobody fucking caught because it's fucking pre-taped. It's not even taped to air. It's taped for YouTube. Nobody went, "Hey, what the fuck?" I don't get too deep in that, but that's some goddamn bullshit. Uh, Come on. Nobody watching AEW. Nobody's on the pulse of Dark and what's going on AEW Dark. Come the fuck on. All right, I think we're gonna get one of these legs done, and then we'll finish the other leg uh, on Saturday, and that'll be good. I think that'll be real good. Okay, so this goes this, yeah. All right. Nerds are all over sports now. Oh, totally. I mean, like that's the thing, right? Like any kind of culture, if it exists long enough, then it doesn't become like nerd shit. It just becomes shit that people like. So like athletes being into okay, so this was like there was a point where Cody Rhodes became the guy that talked to people. But this is before Austin Creed, before Xavier Woods. Cody Rhodes in the WWE was the guy that talked to video game things about the video games, about the wrestling video games, because the everybody knew that Cody really liked um, video games because he had his tights had the Triforce on them, so that was the guy. Now you could talk to basically most of the roster about video games, and like at least there's like somebody playing like casino battle royales, or they're playing whatever. Like most of the roster plays video games now, and that was like 10 years ago. That wasn't the case. My NFL team, the Cleveland Browns, had players that did a fusion dance to celebrate a touchdown. Totally, yeah. Um, there's the lineman from the Eagles who in the like showers he's fully dressed, but the echo was good, so he was doing like the Halo theme. I Which I love, and then at the end he goes, "Go Birds," and it was just great because he's just like, oh, he's like doing that, and then he's "Go Birds," and it's just oh, I loved it so much because there's like, yeah, man, of course you'd be like, the echo's good in here. I'm gonna sing the Halo theme, and then somebody was like, hey, put that on social media, which I just enjoyed. Um, no, yeah, it just becomes the shit that people talk about and that people are excited about, and it's no longer whatever. Like it was Sports Center dedicated a whole segment to how weird it was that some baseball players would take laptops with them on the road because they didn't want to miss out on their World of Warcraft playing. And there was like a huge Sports Center like thing about that, about how like check out these nerdy baseball players loving MMOs, and someone would just go, I don't even know what that means, and it's just like, all right, okay, but yeah, that used to be like a good, funny, like, haha, look at these guys story, and now it's just like now people would just be like, yeah, he plays games, okay, cool, that's everybody, cool. Uh, C22, C23. Where is C23? It's right here. Got it. Uh, we had a few players that stream on Twitch. Yep, yeah. They're NBA players that have been doing that since the 90s. Oh, yeah, totally. Right? Like, yeah, I think, like, also, uh, particularly sports that have a high ratio of black athletes, like, yeah, man, uh, Anime loving black athletes is nothing fucking new. Um, it's just that like, is it being adopted? Is it being recognized? Is it being noticed? Um, yeah, you've got that, that thing where it's just like, yeah, that is the thing. But the wrestling one was always interesting because like it would be people who are like finding out that uh, players playing StarCraft on the plane after winning a championship. Yeah, totally. But there, be the thing where it's like, oh, yeah, well, like CM Punk and Kofi Kingston play like Street Fighter, and it'd be like, huh, okay, that makes some sense. But like now you're just like, yeah, yeah, of course, the whole locker room plays games. Uh, there's a whole channel dedicated to that idea. Um, it's not new or different. Okay, so we have now completed one of the legs. We got a lot done today. We did a whole arm, all of the like one arm, and basically most of two legs. So we got some work done here. Like the Big Show being huge into Destiny. Oh yeah, well, because that's the thing. He's on a bus, so like he has like they stopped somewhere when he was touring, and he was just like, "Yep, now it's time to play Destiny on this bus that I'm sleeping on." And then like at night after he goes to sleep, they'll roll through and drive on. But yeah, there were days where he would finish what he had to do, and he has his personal driver, and he'd be like, "Okay, well, I'm on the Wi-Fi, or I got a good connection here, so we're gonna stay in the parking lot for a couple hours so I can play Destiny, and then we're driving to the next town." So they just had to wait for him to finish like him playing. Anyway, we're gonna wrap things up here with a raid because that's what we do. We raid at the end of streams because we want to support other people, other streamers, and I want to give you something cool to watch. And you can obviously go elsewhere if you don't want to stick around on those streams, but it's a fun way to start that. And sometimes we raid people who are doing model kits. Sometimes we raid people who are hanging out. We're gonna raid because we did this before. We're gonna raid Xandra because we haven't raided Xandra in a while. Xandra's playing Crosscode, um, but we haven't had a chance to raid her in a hot minute. And she, as you know, did all my emotes, and it's always fun to go and give her a raid. So feel free to come along on this raid as we go raid Xandra. Uh, Playing Crosscode. I hope you have an excellent evening tonight. I'd love to see you come in and watch the stream on Saturday, where we're going to be finishing up this leg and start working on the rest of it. Get body complete with this. Um, I hope you have a great time tonight. I hope you come along in this raid. I hope to see you in the future on another stream. Thanks so much for being here. Thanks for chatting or just watching and enjoying yourself. And I'll see you in the next Build with Bear. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye, 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 goodbye.